What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about reverse dieting. Before we get into reverse dieting, I want to talk to you guys about yo-yo dieting. You guys have probably all have seen this kind of cycle or this happen, but yo-yo dieting is basically when someone loses weight, gets nice and lean, gets to where they want to be, their goal weight, and afterwards resorts back to eating the same way they were before, or eating more, or binging because they can't control themselves. So when this happens, they tend to gain the weight back to what they were before, and in most cases gain more weight than what they were before. So that is where the idea of reverse dieting came into play. Okay, so what exactly is reverse dieting? Reverse dieting is basically the diet you do after your show or your diet. It is just a controlled amount of increases to your calories, so you don't get a huge amount of fat after you've been dieting for some time. The thought on this is to add calories slowly up to maintenance, and then slowly after maintenance to keep leanness, increase metabolic rate, and to store as least amount of body fat as possible during that period of time. So that's the basic thought behind it. So how you would reverse diet is basically after your show or after the end of your diet, you would add 100 calories each week until you find your maintenance calories. And then from there, you would just add 100 calories each week until you start gaining a little bit of weight. And then you keep doing that into your off season. The pros to a reverse diet like this is that it is a controlled way to eat after your show or diet. And the other pro, the second pro I would see would be it sounds good in theory. It sounds amazing in theory. And that's what I originally was going to do this, and I thought, wow, that sounds amazing. That sounds perfect. But then you look at the cons. So basically the cons to this kind of very conservative reverse diet is that it is basically just prolonging being in a deficit. That is why people will often lose weight while reverse dieting. Last year I reverse dieted after my show, and I saw that in myself. I lost weight when I started reverse dieting, and that was just basically because I was in a calorie deficit. The second con, well, the reason why you wouldn't want to be in a calorie deficit any longer is because, you know, when you're getting ready for a show, you're already in a deficit for quite a while. And so we want to be back to maintenance, maybe even a surplus, to hopefully put on some muscle and to hopefully get that metabolism back to normal. The second con is that the majority of the time, people won't be able to stick to such a rigid diet after they've already been on a rigid diet. And psychologically, it's hard for someone to follow and will binge, then cut, and then binge. And this is called cutting calorie cycling, where you're never able to return back to normal. You're just constantly thinking about food. You just, as soon as you start seeing a little bit of fat stored, you freak out and you cut again. So that's basically the cutting calorie cycling, where you go, you know, binge, crap, I gained too much fat, and then you try to lose it. And then you're back to binging, and then you try to lose it again, which you don't want because your hormones are going crazy. And then I put as a third con, which kind of went in the second one, is you're just food obsessive. All you think about is food. That's all that's on your mind 24/7. What are you going to eat? How are you going to fit that into your macros? So after hearing this debate on YouTube, which has kind of got me like going into reverse dieting, what I need to be doing better. But if you want to watch that, I will put a link to the video down below. But the YouTube video is with Jeff Nipper, Layne Norton, Peter Fitchen, Menno Henselman, and Eric Helm, and they all debated reverse dieting. 2 people were for reverse dieting, 2 people were against it. But surprisingly, they all pretty much had the same agreement on what to do post-show. After watching the video, it completely changed the way I was going to reverse diet. So they all agreed on how to properly reverse diet, or how to have a recovery diet. And so I'm gonna take you guys through that. So for the most part, they all agreed you should bring calories back up to your new maintenance. Now this is important that you go to your new maintenance and not to the old maintenance. So for instance, you know, maybe you're able to maintain at 3,000 calories before your cut. You started cutting and you ended at 2,000 calories. Now, if you're at 2,000 calories and you just bump it back up to 3,000, there is a chance you're gonna gain a little bit of fat just because your metabolism will slow down a little bit from losing weight. Then after you found your new maintenance, you would just add calories back in from there. So how quick you go up after maintenance will be different for each person and each goal you have. So for instance, if you want to stay somewhat lean, not competition lean, but if you want to stay somewhat lean, you go up from maintenance more slowly. But if you don't really care to stay that lean and don't care to get a little bit fluffier, if it means you're going to have better performance in the gym, then you're going to add calories a little quicker and not be so conservative with it. With all that being said, here's how I am going to do my reverse diet or recovery diet, whatever you want to call it. Basically, I'm going to find my new maintenance calories and start eating that amount. So the easy way to do that is by simply multiplying your body weight by 14 to 16, depending on how conservative you want to be. You know, I'm going to do 14, see where I'm at, and then maybe bump it up to 15, and then bump it up to 16, just like what we talked about, slowly adding it back in after you find your maintenance. So for me, I weigh 150 pounds, multiply by 14, get 2,100 calories, and that's where I'm going to start. The second thing, and something that Jeff Nippard advised, is setting a weight cap. He basically said set a weight cap at 10% of your stage weight and don't go above that. So for me, this would be 150 pounds, and I would take 10% of that, 15 pounds, and I would add that. So 165 pounds is what I'm going to try to stay under until I get further into my off season. So the third thing is, from there, once I've gone back to feeling normal, I'm not craving food, I'm ready to start putting on some fat, and more importantly, put on some muscle. That's when I'll slowly start bumping up my calories to be in a larger surplus after summer. So it's important to gain a little bit of fat after your show. Gaining a little bit of fat resets your hormones, lets everything go back to normal, and you're able to see your performance in the gym go back up, which is what we want. Also, it is shown that when you do have this increase, whether you do it slowly or you do it fast, eventually your metabolism will return back to normal once you put on a little bit of fat back. So there you have it, guys. That is reverse dieting, and that is my take on it, and that is what I'm going to be doing. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you guys on the next one.